Hello, BookTube. I'm Peg, the Book Prize Addict, and welcome back to the fifth and final video I'm making on the National Book Award long list. The final one, the fiction long list, has just come out. It's one we're really all waiting for, and I thought I'd go quickly through those with you before I head off to the library to try to get as many of them as I can and read them. Before I start, I'll just give you my general impression and thoughts. When I first saw it, I was a little disappointed that some of my old favorite authors that have published this year weren't on it. But I got to looking and I realized, you know, I'm an old person. These authors are all much younger than me, writing about lives of people younger than me. And this is a wonderful opportunity for me to learn about younger people and other people than myself and my friends and how they live. And that's really the reason to read, that I read fiction, is to get a feel of how other people live and think and are. And when I look again and think about it in that light, this list is just going to be wonderful, a wonderful learning experience for me, and interesting too to learn about people who are different than I am in age and in other ways. So with that, I'll go through these. Some of them I hadn't even heard of. I've heard of most of them and only read one. So this is going to be an interesting learning and reading experience for me. Okay, first we have A Lucky Man by Jamel Brinkley. This is 9 short stories about fathers and sons who attempt to salvage relationships and confront mistakes of the past. Next we have Gun Love. This is told from the view of a 14-year-old girl who lives in a beat-up old car with her mother on the edge of a trailer park, and their life there, and I guess it does include a gun that she somehow gets. Okay, Florida. I have read this one, and I loved it. It is short stories, and it's very atmospheric of being in Florida, and the feeling in Florida that the uncivilized physical world is right below the surface, and it presents that wonderfully. I've noticed several instances of this lately where people are out walking their little dogs on civilized paths, walking paths, and suddenly alligators appear out of the water and grab the little dog, and the person tries to save the dog. Well, things are kind of wild in Florida if you're not careful, evidently. But I'm really anxious to read this one again. Okay, this one I hadn't even heard of, called The Boat Builder by Daniel Gumbiner. It deals with a 28-year-old man who gets a head injury and moves to a remote North California town to, I guess, kind of recuperate and live. And he does get a pain pill addiction, but it's a story of his actually going to work or with an older man who in fact is a boat builder, and the story of their relationship. Okay, Where the Dead Sit Talking. This is by Brandon Hobson, and it deals with a 15-year-old Cherokee boy who is put in, his mother's in jail, so he's put into the foster care system, and the life he lives there. Okay, An American Marriage. This deals with a pair of young newlyweds, I believe in California. The man is accused of a crime and sent to jail. The wife knows he didn't do it, and their attempts to keep their marriage together, I guess, for the next however many years he's in jail. Okay, here we have The Great Believers. This is actually a two-part kind of story. One thread starts in 1985 when the director of an art gallery in Chicago is putting together a show, and I guess the AIDS crisis is really rampant at this time, involving his friends, and has a lot of effect on him. And then it goes to a woman who's in the first story, but how many years later? 30 years later, and her life, and still how she has been affected by all this. So that really sounds interesting. Okay, we have The Friend by Sigrid Nunez, and has a dog on the cover. Steve Donahue will surely like this one. Incidentally, I hope he's going to be commenting on this like he did on the nonfiction list yesterday. I'm looking forward to his thoughts on some of these. Anyway, this is a story of a woman who's grieving, older woman, and she's burdened with a dog whose owner has died, and the relationship between the two, and I guess the dog is grieving terribly for its owner. So anyway, it's a story of that. And we have There. This has been talked about all over BookTube, so I don't even need to say that much about it. It's about 12 Native American characters who come together for a powwow in Oakland. And it's been very well reviewed everywhere. Okay, and we have last, Heads of the Colored People. These are, again, short stories that shine a light on the simmering tensions and precariousness of Black citizenship. So that's our 10. I'm really looking forward to reading them. As I said, I've only read the one, and I want to read it over. So I'm off to the library to see how many I can gather up today, or at least get on the waiting list for. Hope you all are going to read some of these with me, and please comment if you read them, liked them, or whatever you think. Okay, bye.